Welcome back. You tune into your Feel Good Breakfast Show. This is Expresso only on SABC3. Welcome to it. A rather exciting story right now. When PhD student Emil Krupandan went to the Evolutionary Studies Institute in Johannesburg earlier this month, he knew he would be sifting through thousands of bones that were millions of years old. But what he didn't know was that he was about to make a remarkable discovery of a lifetime, the discovery of a new dinosaur species, South Africa's new Sesotho-named dinosaur. Now, researchers have named the 200-million-year-old dinosaur, which has been in hiding for nearly 80 years, the Sesotho-named. And joining us in studio to shed some light on the discovery is Emil himself. Brother, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Great to be here.
Welcome. This is very exciting. Is this the guy right here?
Actually, that's Ardonyx. It's a very closely related, well, a very close relative. We don't actually have a reconstruction of Sesotho-named like this yet.
It's still coming.
So it's pretty similar looking to that.
So listen, man. This is very interesting to me. After 80 years, a discovery came about that it was a new dinosaur. It was part of the bone structure of the Ardonyx. What, correct?
It was referred to it. It was separate. It had a separate number. It was put on the side and was just labeled Ardonyx. So we thought it was some extra material.
How did it stay hidden? 80 years.
Well, it wasn't really hidden. I mean, this material was catalogued, and the thing is, look, this is a massive collection. So lots and lots of materials constantly being excavated and prepared and stored at facilities like the ESI and the museum in Cape Town. And the thing is, often we don't have enough time, or rather also manpower, to go through these masses and masses of fossils. So because this was labeled Ardonyx, I think people might have overlooked it instead and focused on the better preserved and the primary material. So this was probably sitting in a corner, and I think up until now, nobody really bothered to give it a second look and thought it was just some side stuff that's not that important.
Look, it's an interesting job, because I mean, here you're working with bones, like I said, 200 million years old, or even older. How did you recognize that it doesn't actually belong to the Ardonyx?
Okay, well, look, every bone in the human, or well, in my case, dinosaur body, I don't know that much about what a human skeleton looks like, has a set of features or characters. So if you look at something like that bone, it'll have, say, maybe 10 characters, so that differences in shape of certain structures and things like that. So when you look at a whole bunch of different dinosaurs, you can compare variation in those structures, in those characters, and determine whether this is one species or another, or whether it's something that doesn't fit in and is completely new. And in the case of Sesotho-named, no, I think that's Ardonyx. In the case of Sesotho-named, I looked at this material and I noticed that it had one particularly striking feature, which was this cross-shaped astragalus or ankle bone. So it had this unique shape, and that immediately caught my eye. And then me and another colleague of mine who were looking at material at the ESI at the time, we started looking at the rest of the material and noticed that there were subtle variations in other bones, like part of the arm and foot.
So it's because of that cross-shaped, bone, that's where the name comes from, the Sesotho-named, because Sesotho, that means cross.
Yeah.
I understand. All right, cool. So what does this new discovery tell us, man, about, the dinosaur evolution in South Africa?
Okay, well, first thing you got to remember is that this dinosaur is a sauropodomorph. So that's a big overarching sauropod.
Sauropod?
Omorph.
Okay. Okay.
So kind of sauropod shaped. So you've got, under that umbrella term, you've got things called basal sauropodomorphs or prosauropods, and those are more bipedal animals, slightly smaller. And then you've got sauropods, which are things like Diplodocus and Brachiosaurus and all these massive behemoths.
Yes.
So something like Sesotho-named fills a transitional space. It's showing us how these smaller bipedal animals started changing and not turning into, because it's not the same animal, you know what I mean? It takes millions of years. Turning into something that's quadrupedal and massive. So you can see it's slightly starting to become more and more quadrupedal instead of biped. So dinosaurs like these fill the space in between our two main groups and tell us how sauropod dinosaurs arise. Sure. So this also adds the diversity of species around that time. So now we know that there's a lot more dinosaurs than we think there are, and they're probably going to turn out to be more in the future.
Exactly. Emil, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and congratulations on the discovery as well. Looking forward to obviously learning a little bit more about the Cephaloponosaurus in the coming months ahead. But one thing's for sure, I mean, just looking at what has been discovered in South Africa, I mean, I think it's safe to say that we can expect another, well, maybe a Jurassic blockbuster for South Africa pretty soon. So thank you so much once again. The Cephaloponosaurus, very, very interesting indeed.